Before we focus in on Christianity, which we've been studying recently in relation to Luke's Gospel and the picture there and the varying pictures of the person of Jesus, I'd like us to think a little bit more broadly about the nature of symbols and symbolism in religion. Put simply, a symbol is something used to represent something else. And religions are rich in symbols because you're conveying complex metaphysical ideas in concrete terms. So we can see, just from looking at a few of these objects that you've chosen, how symbolism is embedded in religion and how it works in different ways. Now, what I'd like you to do is to show me how you've understood the person of Jesus and the kind of symbols that you've selected that you think express something about Jesus and how Christians perceive Jesus. Okay, go to your tables, have half a minute just to prepare, and we'll come to you to see how symbolism makes sense to you. If I come out your way.
So the sweets in the paracetamol boxes and medicine boxes represent Jesus as somebody who cures others. And not only does he cure one type of sweet, but he cures everybody of different shapes and sizes, religious or not. And that's what this represents. The fruit here represents that in Luke's Gospel it said that Jesus was a very universal person, that he included everyone. And the fruit shows that he accepts people of all religions, colours, shapes and sizes.
I chose a pair of spectacles because before Jesus was around, everyone's vision was blurred. And then when Jesus came, people were able to see clearly and see where they were going. And they saw all the kindness and the good side in everyone.
I've chosen this stone with the word peace engraved on it. And I think that the solidness of this stone represents the fact that the Christian faith can't be broken and that Jesus is the rock of Christianity. And I think this makes Christians believe that they have a mutual respect for one another in their belief for Jesus.
Okay, so here we have a jug which represents Jesus, and here we have some cups which represent the people of the world. So the water, I'm going to pour it into the cups, and this symbolises that everyone is related to Jesus spiritually, and that Jesus fills everyone with happiness.
I've chosen some textbooks and a book that we're currently studying, as well as some chalk and a whiteboard pen, to show that Jesus was a teacher. And the different textbooks show that he taught many different things to many different people, although it all had one message in it. And this book is Of Mice and Men, and it's about how you should be tolerant to everybody. It teaches tolerance, and it shows that he used stories to teach to everybody. And these symbolise how it's been brought into the modern day, and how, with the whiteboard marker and things, we use these today, but we still teach the same message that he taught us back then.
I have a mask here and some makeup to show that Jesus was against hypocrisy, about hiding yourself, your true self, and so he never used, this makeup represents that he never hid himself and he was always honest to people.
I chose a piece of paper and I think it represents an open mind. And even though it's so simple, it tells you that religion can take you on a journey. And even though it starts off simple, the different things that you do in your life make it more meaningful and special.
This says follow us on Twitter, and we know that this social website has become really popular. On Twitter, I've kind of referred to it as a modernised version on the computer, but of the world when Jesus had his followers, just like Twitter did. And Jesus talks about, and Jesus shows how he can network with anyone around the world, and that the power of communication doesn't stop him and his followers from believing in him and him believing in his followers.
So what I've liked best about this lesson is that the ideas came from you. Nobody has suggested the symbols to you. You've gone away. You've really reflected on what you've learnt about the person of Jesus, on the kind of message that Christians want to communicate in the world today. And you've come up with your own ideas. I've chosen 3 things that I think are really profound, really important that you've brought to this lesson today. The first is this stone, and the idea of having some kind of rock and foundation that feeds into your life. And I think Christians and people of all faiths would say that's what their faith offers them. So I think that was a really profound idea. The mask, about trying to live authentically, live truly, avoiding hypocrisy. That's a really important Christian teaching and a really important idea maybe for the people of all faiths or none. And this idea about healing, about what brings you balm and soothes you in your life and moves you forward. And Jesus had a lot to say about that, so I thought that was a very clever idea. And I know your group wanted to share the sweets that you put inside as your version of medicine to show that idea of universalism that was bedded in Luke's Gospel and in our work on that. So well done. Do you want to share your sweets?
Elena,